Hello everyone, welcome back to my stocks journey. This video I want to introduce a third forecast, and that is a 65% probability the stock market does at least a 30% decline from its peak and a recession by December 1st, 2024. Reason number one why I believe in such a crazy thing is because the SPX chart on TradingView shows that we are reaching the upper end of this resistance. And reason number two is because the Eurodollar futures curve inverted back in December 1st, as shown here. And big shout out to Jeff Snyder for showing me this Eurodollar futures curve. I had no idea this existed, but it's a very good indication. So let's go to the SPX chart. This is on TradingView, a logarithmic chart, and this is basically the S&P 500 going back all the way to 1871. Yes, 1871. And so I drew these four lines because these are supposed to represent the regression charts or regression band that you see in Bitcoin. And so these are essentially what I'm trying to do, because I believe the U.S. stock market is kind of like a network effect. So these bands come from the top top of the stock market before the Great Depression, the bottom of the stock market during the Great Depression, and each of these little peaks that we had in 1937, 1946, I just use that as the midpoint. So you could essentially see this as the top section, the middle section, and the bottom section. Okay, cool. Now we'll see how these bands performed through for the past 80 or so years, or 90 years, and they've been pretty damn good. So you see resistance all throughout here, and the resistance of the middle section, and this is the support of the bottom section. Support. This is the .com bubble here, and you see that when we hit the upper end of this top band, it was the top of a massive tech bubble. And also support here, resistance here. This is the Great Recession in 2008. Support again here, and if we look closely, this is 2020, and we hit support there. So I'm sure that some people would like to disagree, and this is probably not a very popular thing, but I think these lines do have a lot of merit. And so if you see where we just broke above this middle band section, and now we're on the top end. And what do you know, according to history, it seems that if we hit the top of this, it'll be a very bad time for stocks. So, but that doesn't quite explain why I think 2023 or 2024 will be the year when we hit the top, and that's mostly due to this. So just like how when the treasury yield curve inverts between the 10-year and 2 years, and that's how it's a good indication of a recession, so too is the Eurodollar futures curve. It inverted in December 1st 2021 and inverted twice before. Two notable times was in December 2006 and in June of 2018. And I marked these dates on this chart for you guys. So December 2006, and this is June of 2018. And you'll notice each one of those times was a really good early indication of the stock market falling and a recession. So this is the day it inverted, or the month it inverted. This is a year after, and this is the second year after. So you'll notice that during the first year after, nothing much happens, but during the second year, the stock market really goes bad. But usually during the first year, you get signs, some frothy signs in the economy that something's wrong. So the same thing here, inverted June of 2018, and you get this little mini crash, right? And you do get some signs between this period that the economy is slowing down. The economy did start slowing down during this period, and I'm pretty sure there was a inversion in the treasury markets around like late 2018 or early 2019. So and again, the stock market really reacted, and there was a really bad recession between the first and second points after the inversion, and that's the 2020 coronavirus crash. Now, I'm not saying that these curve inversions predict like crazy things, but they do predict bad stuff happening in the markets. So that's why I believe 2 years from now, or a year from now, which would be the orange color, would be December of 2022. I think the stock market won't really crash, but we will get some clear signs in the economy. But between December 2022 and December 2023 and December 2024, as shown in my forecast, I do think something like this will happen, or something like this. And proof, the Eurodollar futures curve is a very hard curve to, like, okay, so honestly, I cannot find these inversion curves. I can't even find the curves online, because apparently the CME group that's in charge of the market or whatever, you have to like find the individual data points and put them into Excel and then put them into a chart. There's no like open market that I could just look at, apparently, which sucks. So unfortunately, although I do think Jeff Snyder is extremely reliable, I personally cannot check for myself the validity of these inversion curves and like when they actually happen and which curves happen. So that is also that's like kind of like the downfall, or like, you know, the counterpoint to what I'm saying right now. But according to him, this is the curve. See how it inverted? So this is the curve for the contracts that you see here, you know, 2023, 2024, 25, 26. And the contract on the later ends of the curve fell. The yields of those were smaller than the curve, the contracts before it, which is not supposed to happen. Yield curves are supposed to be steep, and they're basically supposed to look like this. So when you see inversions like this, it means something is very, very, very wrong in somewhere in the global economy or in the liquidity, or something is wrong. And so this is June of 2018, and you see that according to his, you know, his charts or whatever, it inverted, and I can't see the one in 2006. However, with the data that I am given and the data that I believe in and I believe to be true, I do think for now, this is my base case. Of course, I'm willing to change these probabilities as I learn new information and as I get different perspectives and I get feedback and whatever. I think that this is a decent forecast. And so if that's all you wanted to know, you can click off the video. But I would like to get into some speculative talks on what I think this would create, or what this would happen or mean for the global economy and society in general. So usually when you see, so wealth inequality is at an all-time high. Social unrest is pretty strong. Social mobility is pretty low right now. People in general are not very happy with the way resources are allocated. Okay, people aren't getting their fair share of the pie. And you could also see that marriage ages have been climbing past 28, 29. Birth rates are below replacement levels, and they're generally falling throughout the first world. These are not good signs, and historically, this much debt does not end well for countries. So like, we're in a record amount of debt globally, not just the United States, but everywhere in the first world, and even second and third world countries too, I think. And so, you know, what usually this means that, I'm not saying specifically 2023, 2024 is when, you know, the everything bubble pops. That is not what this forecast is saying. I'm merely speculating that when it does pop, that'll cause a tremendous amount of social unrest throughout the world, and especially in third world countries. And I think what happens after that, of course, this is speculation. I have no real evidence or any way or observations to prove this. But last time something like this happened was in the 20th century. So after the Great Depression, after the hyperinflation, after those really frothy years in the early, you know, between like the 20s and 30s, you know, 1920s, 1930s, you know, what happened after that? Well, the United States and like Great Britain and France, you know, they did okay, they recovered, but Germany turned into fascism, and created Hitler, and Japan turned really imperialist, and then turn into those kamikaze crazy guys. So what I'm trying to say is, I think certain societies in the world that look very strong or democratic or capitalistic or whatever today will turn out to be extremely different sometime in the future, because tremendous economic shocks trigger social unrest and people want change. And this is just a cycle that's been happening throughout history. It's actually not actually something that's new. It's actually very normal. And so I think certain countries in Europe could potentially stopping democratic or stop having capitalism. Even some countries in Eastern Asia, maybe. So I think that there's a real danger that, this could cause a lot of countries to turn into really bad countries. And also, I think during this period, there will be a lot of capital restrictions. So, countries that are losing a lot of, their currency is losing a lot of value, they would place restrictions on capital flights. So like, you would not be able to put money in European stocks or Chinese stocks. You wouldn't be able to take money out of the bank. You wouldn't be able to buy gold. You wouldn't be able to buy crypto. And I think those are all very viable possibilities. Again, I'm not saying that's going to happen in 2023, 2024, but I am saying that sometime in the future, when this everything bubble pops, that bubble pops, and there's a big reset button on the economy, as not like some conspiracy stuff like Illuminati stuff that some people like to say, but this is just a normal thing that happens periodically throughout human history, and it's just our time. It's just about that time for something like that to happen again. So that's my speculation, but please focus on my forecast. I will be updating these forecasts quite often when I get new information, and that's all I wanted to say. So if you like the video, please subscribe, please like the video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.